Good afternoon again, Mr. Kissinger.
Good afternoon.
I would like us to have a conversation around the area for political parties and parties primaries. This is because, as you may know, political parties, if you're successful to become the chairperson of the IBC, will be your biggest stakeholder. So there is this contention and there is this problem that has always been experienced each electoral cycle on party primaries. That there are challenges that come up with nomination processes, pre-elections, and I would like you to explain to us what you think is the problem and the gap that exists in that area, and how do you intend to address that gap should you become successful?
Thank you for that question. Every political party in this country has a constitution. Every political party. These political parties are registered by the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties. The law has allowed the PPLC, the Political Parties Liaison Committees, to take a very critical role in managing of political parties. Now, the conflict of and primaries are basically an election in the electoral cycle. And then IBC has a very big role in dealing with the political parties. Now, the interplay between IBC, the Office of the Registrar of Political Parties, and the Political Liaison Committee take a very central role in terms of managing and coalescing around political parties. Now, the biggest problem with the political parties comes with, one, the respective constitutions. And what do they say in the constitutions when it comes to coming up with the party lists for their candidates who are going to participate in that election? That is normally the biggest problem. The biggest problem being they do not rely and try to ensure that probably the gender rule is observed in those primaries, number one. Number two, the issue of PWDs is not observed in that list, and the issue of women and minorities are not observed on those issues. So that is where normally the problem and the anarchy and the confusion appears whenever political parties are doing their primaries. So to navigate around that issue, and of course the issue of funds in terms of allowing women to participate, to contest an election, and it's a very confusing thing. So to manage that conflict within the political parties there has to be a very strong stakeholder engagement of the political parties themselves to relook at their constitution and the rules in terms of nomination. The other thing to do is to tap on the skills of PPLC, which is by law one of the conveners in terms of bringing together political parties and as well as the IBC. Number three, IBC to have very strict rules on when to accept this list or not to accept this list. I know that one of the contention is the female, the male, and the minorities and the PWDs. Although we do not have a proper framework to ensure that political parties comply with the party lists to be gender sensitive, you still have to think of other means and ways of coming up with a representative list.